Good morning. Imagine waking up in the heart of Siberia, where the air is crisp and the world is silent, save for the gentle rustle of the forest. The day begins like any other, with the promise of routine and the comfort of the familiar. But then, as you step outside, you notice something strange, a shimmering in the sky, a light that doesn't belong. Imagine the sky itself tearing open, as if reality is being rewritten before your eyes. On June 30th, 1908, in the remote wilderness of Siberia, local Evenki herders and Russian settlers witnessed a sight that would haunt them forever. A brilliant column of bluish light, as dazzling as a second sun, silently gliding across the morning sky. The fireball left behind a blazing trail of fire and thick smoke, carving a path through the heavens for several long minutes. It was a silent harbinger of doom, moving with an eerie grace that defied explanation. The air grew strangely warm, almost electric, and the hairs on people's arms stood on end. A sense of unease rippled through the witnesses, as if nature itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, without warning, an explosion of unimaginable force ripped through the atmosphere, 5 to 10 kilometers above the ground. The sky erupted in a blinding flash, and the world was changed in an instant. The blast was 1,000 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb, generating a colossal flash and a towering pillar of fire that reached toward the heavens. The energy released was beyond comprehension. A shockwave raced outward, knocking people off their feet and shattering windows up to 60 kilometers away. The force of the blast was felt across vast distances, leaving devastation in its wake. Witnesses felt a thermal blast so intense it seemed their clothes were on fire, even from far away. The heat was searing, and the air shimmered with energy, as if the sun itself had descended to Earth. The ground trembled violently, shaking beneath their feet. Seismic stations across Eurasia registered the event, recording waves that rippled through the Earth for thousands of kilometers. The sky was transformed into a chaotic canvas of fire, smoke, and blinding light. For a moment, day turned to night, and the world seemed to teeter on the edge of apocalypse. For those nearby, it felt like the end of the world had arrived. Fear and awe mingled as they struggled to comprehend the scale of the disaster unfolding before them. They had seen the sky fall, felt the earth shake, and heard a sound from the heavens that echoed for miles, a roar that seemed to come from another world. The Tunguska Event had arrived, flattening over 2,000 square kilometers of forest in an instant, leaving a scar on the land that would puzzle scientists for generations. In that moment, the world would never be the same. The memory of that day, the day the sky fell, would echo through history, a reminder of our planet's vulnerability to the cosmos. In the aftermath, an eerie silence settled over the vast expanse of Siberia, as if the land itself was holding its breath, stunned by what had just occurred. The world remained oblivious. In 1908, news from such a remote and isolated region traveled at a glacial pace, hindered by endless forests and primitive communication lines. Initial accounts from terrified witnesses sounded like myth, fiery dragons streaking across the sky, thunderbolts hurled by angry gods, and a deafening roar that shook the earth. Local authorities, skeptical and dismissive, brushed aside these tales as mere superstition or the wild imaginings of frightened peasants. Yet the planet itself could not ignore the event. The atmospheric shockwave raced around the globe twice, with sensitive barographs in Britain and beyond registering the mysterious pressure pulse. For several nights, skies over Europe and Asia glowed with an unearthly silvery light, so bright that people could read newspapers outdoors at midnight, bewildered by the phenomenon. Astronomers, peering through their telescopes, noted a mysterious veil of high-altitude dust that seemed to hang in the upper atmosphere, scattering sunlight in strange ways. Across continents, people marveled at the spectacle, gathering in streets and fields, unaware that the dazzling display was fallout from a cosmic collision deep in the Siberian wilderness. The dust and ice particles suspended high above scattered sunlight, creating a global light show that mystified scientists and lay people alike. Official reports, fragmented and incomplete, trickled out slowly. Confusion and speculation reigned as authorities struggled to piece together the truth. It would take years, decades even, for the world to fully grasp the true scale and significance of what had happened in that remote corner of the earth. The mystery of Tunguska lingered, waiting patiently in the silent Siberian wilderness, its secrets hidden beneath the endless trees and morning mist. In 1927, Leonid Kulik led the first scientific expedition to the site. After a grueling trek, they found a vast circular area of flattened forest, over 2,150 square kilometers, 80 million trees snapped like matchsticks, all pointing away from a central point. At the epicenter, a small group of trees stood upright, stripped bare, like skeletal telephone poles. The blast had come from directly above, pressing straight down. Kulik expected to find a massive crater, but there was none, no hole, no significant fragments. The absence of a crater became the central mystery. The scene showed all the signs of a massive impact, but the key evidence was missing. The Forest of Ghosts was a crime scene with no weapon and no body. This paradox forced scientists to rethink everything. The lack of physical evidence opened the door to decades of debate and extraordinary theories. The mystery deepened. Today, the scientific consensus is clear. The Tunguska event was triggered by the atmospheric explosion of a celestial body, most likely a stony asteroid or perhaps a small comet. For decades, the true cause of the mysterious blast remained a subject of debate and speculation, but modern research and advanced simulations have provided compelling evidence for this explanation. The object, estimated to be about 60 meters wide, entered Earth's atmosphere at tremendous speed. As it plummeted downward, the intense pressure and heat caused it to disintegrate and explode several kilometers above the ground, unleashing a staggering amount of energy. This violent airburst explains both the immense power of the blast and the puzzling absence of an impact crater on the ground. The force of the explosion was enough to devastate the landscape without leaving a traditional mark. As the asteroid plunged into the atmosphere, it vaporized in a fraction of a second, releasing energy equivalent to 20 million tons of TNT, far more powerful than the largest nuclear bombs ever detonated by humans. The resulting shock wave swept across the Siberian forest, flattening trees across more than 2,000 square kilometers. The blast left a distinctive radial pattern, with trees knocked down and scorched, all pointing away from the explosion's epicenter. In 2013, a smaller asteroid exploded over Chelyabinsk, Russia, shattering thousands of windows and injuring over 1,000 people. Like Tunguska, there was no crater, just a powerful airburst and a dramatic reminder of our planet's vulnerability. This modern, real-world example supports the airburst explanation for Tunguska, showing how even relatively small space rocks can unleash tremendous destructive power when they encounter Earth's atmosphere. The visitor from the cosmos was almost certainly a stony asteroid rather than a comet. Its composition and behavior matched what scientists have observed in similar events. The Tunguska event is a powerful reminder that Earth is part of a dynamic solar system, a cosmic shooting gallery where asteroids and comets regularly cross our planet's path. It was a chance encounter with a piece of space rock, ending in a spectacular, fiery display that forever changed the Siberian landscape and deepened our understanding of the universe's unpredictable power. The airburst theory is supported by evidence etched into the planet. Scientists found tiny magnetite and silicate spheres in Tunguska peat bogs, rich in nickel and iridium, elements common in asteroids. Ice cores from Greenland show a spike in cosmic dust from 1908, confirming a global event. The pattern of destruction: trees felled radially, some stripped bare, matches an aerial blast. Nuclear tests at altitude have produced similar damage patterns. The lack of a crater is now seen as strong evidence for an airburst. A solid iron meteorite would have left a crater. A stony asteroid or comet would fragment and explode in the atmosphere. No large fragments have ever been found. The empty ground at the epicenter is the solution, not the problem. The evidence points to a cosmic airburst. Despite strong scientific evidence, a sensational theory persists that Tunguska was caused by an alien spacecraft. This idea suggests the fireball was an extraterrestrial vehicle, either crashing or sacrificing itself to save humanity. The theory originated in fiction, Alexander Kazantsev's 1946 story of a Martian spaceship exploding over Tunguska. The story blurred lines between fact and fiction, fueling UFO speculation. Proponents like Yuri Lavbin claim the object changed course, requiring intelligent control. They interpret the lack of meteorite fragments as proof of alien technology. Alleged anomalous radiation and strange isotopes are cited as evidence of a nuclear or exotic propulsion failure. For believers, Tunguska is the Russian Roswell, a hidden sign we are not alone. The legend endures, despite a lack of scientific support. UFO proponents claim to have found physical proof, Metal fragments, quartz crystals with strange markings and exotic materials. In 2004, Yuri Lavvin's team announced a 50-kilogram metal block claiming it was alien. Later, they reported quartz crystals with drilled holes, interpreting them as alien writing or navigation maps. They also claimed to find ferrum silicate, supposedly only possible in space. However, none of these artifacts have undergone rigorous, independent scientific analysis. Critics point to confirmation bias and more mundane explanations. The Tunguska region is a known drop zone for Soviet rocket debris. Many experts believe the alien fragments are misidentified space junk. The claims remain unverified and controversial. The UFO narrative was shaped by the Soviet Union's secretive Cold War activities. Authorities allowed UFO speculation to distract from top-secret military and space tests. Famous UFO sightings often coincided with clandestine rocket launches or warhead tests. The state used UFO myths as a convenient smokescreen. This context allowed the Tunguska UFO theory to flourish. When strange metal is found in a known rocket drop zone, skepticism is warranted. The scientific method demands verifiable, repeatable results. So far, the UFO evidence is anecdotal and unverified. The UFO myth persists because it offers a dramatic, meaningful story. Yet, the scientific truth is no less awe-inspiring. Today, the scientific community agrees Tunguska was a natural phenomenon, a cosmic airburst. The flattened forest, lack of crater, and extraterrestrial particles all point to a celestial explosion. Modern observations of similar events support this explanation, yet the story still captivates us. Its scale, remoteness, and lack of a smoking gun leave room for myth. Mysteries like Tunguska challenge our understanding and remind us of nature's power. The UFO theory, though unsupported, taps into our sense of wonder and the question of whether we are alone. The legend endures because we crave meaning in cosmic events. The forest has regrown, but the memory of that fiery morning lives on. Tunguska is both a scientific benchmark and a timeless source of awe. Even in a world of science, there is still room to look up and wonder. Good morning.